The night was loud, busy, and beautifully chaotic inside the Imperial Lounge, one of New York's most luxurious hotels. Waiters rushed between tables, trays clinking with silver cutlery and wine glasses. But among the noise and glitter, one young waitress moved differently, quietly, carefully, with eyes full of kindness. Her name was Maya Thompson. She wasn't from luxury. She was from a small town 2 hours away, a girl who had learned early that respect costs nothing, and that kindness, even when ignored, was never wasted. Tonight, she was exhausted, 3 double shifts in a row, but still managed to smile at every guest. Because she knew one truth: how you serve says more about who you are than what you earn. The boy no one noticed. At table 14 sat a boy, maybe 10 years old, wearing a crisp white shirt, clutching a small toy car. His eyes darted around nervously. He flinched when the waiter dropped a fork nearby. The boy wasn't like the others. His name was Ethan, and though his face was innocent, his world was quieter than most. Ethan was autistic. He was sitting alone, waiting for his father, the billionaire CEO of Lawson Enterprises, Mr. Adrian Lawson, one of the most powerful, cold, and intimidating men in the city. Adrian was known for being ruthless in business, feared in the boardroom, and impossible to reach emotionally. The world called him the Iron CEO, but tonight, he was late, and that small delay was about to change everything. The Mockery group of wealthy guests noticed Ethan sitting alone, mumbling softly to his toy car. One of them chuckled. "Whose kid is that?" "Looks like he wandered in from the wrong world," another sneered. The laughter spread like wildfire, cruel, thoughtless, loud enough to make Ethan cover his ears. That's when Maya saw it. Without thinking twice, she placed down her tray and walked straight to the table. "Hey, buddy," she said softly, crouching to his level. "That's a cool car you've got. Is it fast?" Ethan peeked up, hesitant, then gave a small nod. "It's Lightning McQueen," he whispered. Maya smiled. "Well, Lightning McQueen's lucky to have you." When she saw his trembling hands, she gently took off her apron and draped it over his shoulders like a superhero cape. "There, now you're both heroes tonight." The guest nearby snickered again. "Oh, how sweet." "The waitress found herself a new friend," one man said mockingly. But Maya didn't even look at them. Her focus was only on the boy. She moved her tray aside and sat beside Ethan on the carpet, softly humming the car's movie theme until he smiled again. The arrival minutes later, the doors swung open. A man in a black tailored suit, tall and sharp-eyed, stepped in. The atmosphere instantly changed. The staff straightened up. Conversations hushed. Adrian Lawson had arrived. He scanned the room, every gaze, every whisper, until his eyes fell on his son and the waitress sitting beside him. For a moment, his expression was unreadable. Then slowly he walked toward them. The guests who had mocked Ethan froze. One even muttered nervously, "Oh no, she's in trouble." The confrontation, Adrian stopped beside Maya. His voice was cold. "What exactly do you think you're doing, miss?" The room went silent. Every staff member watched, terrified. Maya stood, heart pounding. "Sir, your son was—" "My son," Adrian interrupted, narrowing his eyes. "You know who I am?" Maya nodded. "Yes, sir, I do. But I also know your son needed someone right now. And in this restaurant, every guest, no matter who they are, deserves kindness." The room gasped. No one ever talked back to Adrian Lawson. Adrian stared at her for what felt like forever. Then he looked down at Ethan, now smiling softly, playing with his car under Maya's apron. The same boy who rarely smiled in public. Something inside the billionaire shifted. The apology that shocked everyone, Adrian turned to the table of men who had mocked his son. His tone dropped, dangerously calm. "Gentlemen," he said, "I hope your money taught you manners better than this. Because she," he pointed to Maya, "has more class in her pinky finger than you've shown your entire lives." No one dared breathe. Then, turning back to Maya, Adrian did something no one had ever seen him do before. He extended his hand. "Miss, thank you," he said quietly, "for protecting my son when I wasn't there to do it." Maya blinked, stunned. "I was just doing what anyone decent would do, sir." Adrian gave a faint smile. "No, not everyone would. That's what makes you rare." He took out his business card. "I want to see you in my office tomorrow. 10 a.m. sharp." The next morning, Maya arrived at the towering Lawson Enterprises headquarters, nervous and unsure. She'd half expected him to offer an apology or maybe a small reward. But what happened next changed her entire life. Adrian met her personally in the top-floor conference room. "I've been thinking about last night," he said. "You saw something in Ethan most people don't. You didn't pity him, you connected with him. That's something I haven't been able to teach even my top executives." He paused, looking out the window. "So I want to make you an offer." Maya blinked. "An offer?" He smiled. "I'm opening a foundation in my son's name to create inclusive hotels and training centers for special needs youth. I want you to lead it." Her jaw dropped. "Me? But I'm just a waitress, not anymore," Adrian said. "You're someone who made my son feel safe in a world that doesn't always understand him." That's leadership. Years later, the Ethan Lawson Foundation became a global movement. Hotels started hiring differently. Training programs opened for autistic youth. Hospitality was no longer about perfection. It was about compassion. And at the center of it all was Maya. No longer in an apron, but in a sleek white suit standing beside the man who had once terrified her. Adrian often told reporters, "The best business decision I ever made wasn't a merger. It was trusting the heart of a waitress." Ethan, now a teenager, often walked proudly beside Maya, calling her his hero. The legacy, when the world finally recognized Maya Thompson, it wasn't just for her success. It was for the quiet power of empathy she carried when no one was watching. And every time someone asked how it all began, she would smile and say, "It started the night I chose kindness over comfort, and it changed 3 lives forever." Moral: never underestimate someone doing their job with love, because one act of kindness can turn a waitress into a leader, a CEO into a father, and a lonely boy into a symbol of hope.